Liberty 6920 here. Today we're going to do a head-to-head comparison on the Colt 1911 and the CZ97B. Now I have done previous videos on both of these pistols, but this video is going to be geared more as a platform versus platform video. This video is going to be geared more towards pistol versus pistol as opposed to the pistol's individual attributes. Alright, well, I guess we should start with a close-up of both pistols. Here we have the Colt Series 80 1911. There's a pretty bad glare there on this stainless frame. Let me get this out of directly out of the light a little bit here so you can get a nice close-up look of it. And the CZ97B. It's a lot easier to see this one because it's not stainless and you don't have the glare interfering. Alright, so I've taken both of these pistols out recently, but I would like to do a head-to-head versus comparison of the two pistols. In the CZ97 video, I did reference a little bit the 1911, but in this video, I would like to go more in depth with the comparison. So let me go down my usual talking points about these two pistols, and we will decide. I will decide which I feel gets the advantage of both, and which I would prefer if I had to choose one. Accuracy. Well, I did briefly touch on this in my CZ97 video, but I do believe that the CZ97 has a slight, ever so slight, advantage in the accuracy department. Not even anything that's really notable. It's almost a wash, but I believe that the CZ97 is just slightly more accurate than a stock. Basically, it's got higher profile sights and a nicer finish and everything, but basically that is pretty representative of a stock GI 1911. It's a Colt Series 80 1911, 1991 A1. So a slight, very, very slight, by a hair, accuracy advantage goes to the CZ97. Alright, reliability. Well, in this regard, let me first touch on how much trigger time I have with the 1911. I shot my first 1911 back in 1991 when I was when I was a very small boy. It was a 1991 A1 that was made in 1991. I was the third person to shoot it on the day it was bought. So that's 22 years ago. I've been shooting 1911s for 22 years now. And I literally, and this is no bullshit, I literally have put tens of thousands of rounds through 1911s in my life. And I feel, at least in a recreational setting, I'm as qualified as anybody to do a review on one. Alright, now the pistol on the right, the CZ97, I've only taken the 97 out once previously, but I have been shooting CZ75s for about 7-8 years now, and I have put thousands of rounds through them, and I'm very comfortable with the CZ75. I have a lot of trigger time with the CZ75, and this pistol is basically just a beefed up, like I said in my previous CZ97 video, this pistol is basically just a beefed up variation of that. So all of these talking points, although I haven't had the trigger time with the CZ97 that I've had with the 75, I believe all the same rules apply because basically it's just a scaled up variation. So reliability wise, I got to give it to the 1911. I got to give it to the 1911 because I have had, and this is not on the gun. This is on me. when shooting CZ75s, I have had feeding problems. I did mention this before. I have had feeding problems when the pistol went extended periods of time without lubrication. When I forgot to take it out and when I forgot to lubricate it before taking it to the range. And that jumped out at me right away. I've taken 1911s to the range when they weren't very lubricated. When I've forgotten for an extended period of time to lube them up, and they still work fine. So, and in my lifetime, I have seen a 1911 stovepipe, all the thousands of rounds that I have put through them with Colt 1911s and with Springfield 1911s. I have seen one stovepipe in 22 years. That's the only malfunction. The CZ75, which basically is the same thing as this, only it's in 9mm. The CZ75, I have had some feeding problems with the pistol. It is a reliable pistol, but when I've neglected to properly lubricate it, the pistol has jammed on me quite a bit. So reliability edge definitely goes to the 1911. Durability. Well, these durability, as far as durability goes, I don't really know that I'm going to give any pistol an advantage over a 1911. All you have to do is just look at the history. I mean, you know, they've been used for over 100 years now, and there are pistols that were used in Vietnam that still run. There were pistols that were used in World War II, 1911 used in World War II, World War I even, that still run. And, you know, so how do you really compete with that? You don't. So durability has got to go to the 1911, even though I believe that the CZ97, taking all the same attributes from the CZ75, I do believe that the CZ97 is on par with it. It just doesn't have the history and longevity to compete. Ergonomics. Well, in this area, I'm going to have to say that when I hold a CZ97, when you hold a CZ97 in your hands, it is definitely bulkier and fatter than a 1911. So you know, I like a little bit of a thinner grip. I like a little bit of a thinner pistol myself. So I like the 1911 better for that. I like a consistent trigger. I mean, I know some people, you know, some people like this the double to single. Some people like the double to single trigger pull. Some people prefer it, you know, in certain pistols. But in this pistol, I mean, the double's not bad, and the transition to single, you know, isn't bad either. And you know, it's not a bad single action trigger pull, but I do prefer the consistent single action, that light, short moving single action trigger pull out of the 1911 better. Yeah, the thing, this pistol has a great trigger. I'm not trying to say that it doesn't have a great trigger, because I love the trigger, but you know, it does go from double to single. I do prefer, you know, in a perfect world, I would prefer a pistol that has you know, a consistent trigger pull, and I know a lot of people, you know, can relate to that. But the double's not bad on this, and the single, you know, it's pretty light. But what I don't like about, not that I don't like it, what I like more about the 1911 single action trigger pull is once it's locked into that single action fire, there's not as much travel. You know, I sometimes when I'm shooting this, you know, there's more travel, you know, before, you know, before the round goes off. With the 1911, there's not that there's not as much travel. You know, just that. I mean, it barely moves. It moves a hair. Now, I like the the shorter travel of the 1911's single action trigger pull, because I feel like sometimes when I'm shooting the 97, because it is a longer trigger pull, I feel like I kind of jerk it sometimes a little bit, and also I kind of just kind of feel like I drift a little bit when I'm shooting it. I like a single action trigger pull that has as little movement in it, as little travel in it before firing it as humanly possible. It's slimmer and it's easier to conceal. So, in addition to what I said, the cocked and locked feature, it is bulkier in your hand, and it isn't as natural to get to that safety with this pistol. If you ask me, with this pistol, it's slimmer. It's right there. There's no way for you not to hit it. It's very it's very comfortable, and I'm very, very used to it. Bearing all this in mind, I have been shooting the 1911 since I was 7-8 years old. So you got to bear that in mind too. Firepower. The standard 1911 magazines hold 7 and 8+1 shots. The standard magazine for the CZ97 is a 10+1. So advantage goes to the CZ97. It's not a big advantage, 2 or 3 rounds, but advantage does go to the CZ97. 7 or 8 shots out of a 1911 is plenty, though, if you ask me. I mentioned that in the video that I did on it previously, and 10 shots, even better, like I said in the CZ97 video. Simplicity. Well, here is where the CZ97 takes a huge advantage over the 1911. It is far easier and far more pleasant to break down and clean. I mean, you can take apart the CZ97, field strip it, and have it back together in about 1/3, 1/4 the time that it takes you to take apart a 1911 and put it back together. So simplicity definitely goes to the CZ97. Accessories, well, that's not even close. All you got to do is go online, go on the internet, and check out all the accessories that are out there, all the custom triggers and beaver tails and safeties and hammers and barrels and different kinds of bushing and sights and everything that you can find for a 1911. There are accessories galore for the 1911, and the CZ97, not so much. Weight. Now, I didn't get a scale out and weigh these pistols, but just from holding them, I can tell you that the CZ97 not only is bulkier and fatter, it is heavier than the 1911. So weight advantage goes to the 1911. Price. This is where the CZ97 has an advantage over this Colt 1911. Not that the Colt 1911 is the only game in town. There are cheaper 1911s. There are a lot more expensive 1911s as well. But this is a head-to-head comparison of the CZ97B and the Colt 1911. The CZ97B is a good $250, $300 less than the Colt Series 80 1991 A1. So price definitely advantage CZ97. One thing that I neglected to mention previously is that one thing that you need to take into account is the rarity of a pistol, how hard a pistol is to find. Not saying that the CZ97 is hard to find. It's fairly easy to find, but you're gonna find 1911s in every gun shop. Like, I've been to plenty of. Well, first of all, most of the gun shops around me, except for one, don't carry CZ pistols. Most of the gun shops around me do not carry CZ pistols, sadly. I have to, and I really, really like CZ pistols. I have to go out of my way to get them, though. I have to go to gun shows, and I have to drive out of my way to get them. Or, if depending on which gun shop around me I go to, I have a person order one for me. This CZ97 was bought at a gun show, but you are not going to see CZ97s in the abundance that you see 1911s anywhere near me, and actually anywhere in the country. Every gun shop in this country has 1911s in it. So that has to be taken into account too. A Colt Series 80 1911, far easier to find than a CZ97. Track record. Well, a head-to-head comparison, like I said in my CZ97 video, the CZ97 itself has only been around since 1997. That's where CZ97 comes from. But, like I said, all the same rules apply to this pistol that apply to the CZ75. It's basically the CZ75's big brother. The CZ75 has been around since 1975. It's been around for almost 40 years, and it's basically the most popular military pistol in Europe. And it has quite the reputation. Its reputation precedes itself. It's a great pistol. I arguably like the CZ75 better than either of these pistols. Actually, I think I do. If I had to choose between the three of them, I would pick the CZ75 over either of these. But this is a Colt 1911 versus CZ97 video, and I have to say that a 40-year track record, and a 40-year track record does not match up to a 100+ year track record that the 1911 has. I could put down any other pistol on this table and it would lose out to the 1911 as far as track record. 1911 45 Auto is the 800-pound gorilla of track record as far as a pistol goes. Which one do I prefer? Which one would I recommend you buy if you could only buy one? Well, let me first of all let me say that that I love both of these pistols. Both of these pistols are fantastic. You would be well served with either pistol. CZ makes fantastic pistols. Some of my favorite pistols in the entire world. The CZ75 is without a doubt one of my favorite pistols. I prefer it to a 1911, but this isn't a comparison between CZ75 and a 1911. It's a comparison between a CZ97 and a 1911. I prefer the 1911. If I could only have one, if you're saying, Bill, you get to take, you have a choice between these two pistols to take into battle a sidearm, I am going with the 1911 because it is thinner, it is lighter, it has more ergonomic controls, in my opinion, as to how it fits my hand. How it fits in my hand, I believe the controls are more ergonomic. I believe that it is almost as accurate. Basically, let me even take that back. It's an extremely marginal difference in accuracy between the two, and the 97 takes a slight advantage there. It's almost a wash. The 1911 is highly accurate. It's durable, dependable. It's been around for over 100 years, and maybe more importantly than any of that is the abundance of magazines. You can go to any gun shop in the country and find as many 1911 magazines as you want. The CZ97 magazines, they're a little harder to come by. Okay, a lot harder to come by, and they're more expensive. So, if the apocalypse is here tomorrow, the end of the world, shit hits the fan, whatever. Say that, that scenario that everybody talks about. Let's say that happens. You have the choice between these two pistols. I'm gonna take the 1911 because it's got the history, it's got the thin frame, it's got the reliability, the durability, and magazines are everywhere, and spare parts. God forbid something breaks in your pistol. You have to replace. There are parts everywhere for a 1911, and that is not the case with the CZ97. It is not. There are not anywhere near as many magazines and spare parts out there for the CZ97. So if I had to choose one, first of all, I say get both. But if if I have the choice gun I'm going to take into battle, it's going to be the 1911 for the reasons that I stated. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and this is True Liberty 6920, and I will see you next time.